Welcome to year 24 for me. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good? Okay. So it was exciting to be at training camp. It's like the birth of a new child. We got 6 real children and 24 seasons. So we're excited about this year. Questions? I want to thank all the fans for coming out, number one. We had probably close to 5,000 fans here today, which is beautiful. Players appreciate it. We all appreciate it, and I think they had a great time. A little warm, but they everybody seemed to adjust well to it, so it was great. So,
yeah, what was that like, having the fans back?
I love the hat,
there?
man.
Thank you.
Good. So I'm trying to figure out what it represents.
I've been watching Yellowstone. So
Yellowstone, okay, yeah, well, okay.
Well, maybe it's not fun. But hey, what was it like having?
They wear hats out there, but not quite like that one. These, but, you know.
I got a couple, but this one my favorite.
Good.
Thank you. Just after the, having the fans back, it's been a couple of years. So.
It has been. So, everything is centered on winning. But a big part of winning, it's winning on the field and off the field, and obviously a big part of winning off the field is connecting with our fans. A big part of winning on the field is connecting with our fans. So to have, the amount of open practices, excuse me, we have this year with our fans here today and a number of practices coming up is really great. It's an exciting year. Every year has its excitement to it. This year, I think, a little more so probably than we've had of late. And we're looking, obviously, for a very competitive team, very competitive season, and we'd love to play our 17 games plus. And I say plus, so that's the aspirations of the franchise, and starts with our players and coaches and fans and certainly our ownership. So it's a beautiful day, and it's really great to be here. Great to see it.
I was there 24 years ago when you first started out.
Yeah. Hey, Terrence, how are you?
First day in Greenville, how you felt and
Yeah.
sort of thing. Projecting now, how
Yeah.
do you feel now compared to that day 24 years ago in Greenville?
That's a really good question. I remember, that's a great question. 24 years ago, I remember the first practices I went to, seeing a lot of these young men, run around and, shorts and what have you. And my vision was, my vision was that every one of these guys are going to be an All-Pro. And I remember, folks said to me, Coach Reeves at the time and other people said, well, you got to see them in pads. You got to see them actually start hitting each other. You got to see them in preseason games. You got to, things will change. So, but to see, the quality of the roster, I think that we've put together. The practices now are different. Early on in those days, we started hitting soon after day one, and there were 2 a day, and they were in pads, and so, the training camp protocols today are. In my opinion, they're more, sensible and designed really for the longevity of the players, the safety and health of the players, and to make sure that we can not only get to the starting line ready to play, but actually have a full season and play competitively. But it's very different. And certainly being at Furman, which is a great university, and they were great hosts for us, on a good day we may have had 200 fans there. So to see, the amenities that we have here now, the dorms, the facilities, everything we have in this building, and to see the players all use it the way they are is very rewarding. Players help design basically everything we've done here in many ways by listening to them and understanding what their needs are. So it's very different than the early days. And I think, you learn probably – you want to have, a little more patience with your aspirations. I'm still impatient to win. I'm still, a very competitive guy. Our fans are, and they should be, and aspirations haven't changed. We still want to be one of the 6 or 7 most competitive teams every year, year in, year out. That's really our goal. It's not really to be a one-year wonder, play well, win a playoff game, and then disappear for 6 or 7 years, but it's to be one of those teams every year, Terrence, that all of you are writing about, and your colleagues write about, and say this is one of the teams that'll be there at the end of the year. So I think we're moving in that direction. So
your enthusiasm seems to be exactly the same as it was from
well,
back then and now. It hasn't wavered.
well, thank you. Well, I've probably aged a little bit in 24 years, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Doing the best I can to fight that. No.
What excites you most about the starting quarterback this year, Michael Penix here, and what have you learned about him since you initially met him when you were?
Yeah, I think Michael played a ton in college, so he's got a tremendous amount of collegiate experience and very high success rate in college, and obviously our personnel department and coaching staff evaluated him at a very high level last year going into the draft. I think he played well during the 3 games he played, but I also think that it's important to remember that he only has 3 games as a professional quarterback, so as an NFL quarterback. So I think that he's, smart as heck. He's a really good leader. He works hard. He has all the qualities you want to see, I think, in a franchise quarterback. And, if we get a duplicate run out of him that we got out of Matt Ryan, we'll be incredibly happy. So, and I was reflecting today when I was out watching him practice that the last time we had a left-handed quarterback here was when Michael was here. Michael Vick was here. And, one's number 9, one's number 7. But, I wish him the kind of success that Michael had when he was playing for us as well. And so we're excited about Michael Penix, and the team is. So.
Arthur, kind of speaking to that about Michael Penix Jr., it's been a lot of ups and downs the last few years, of course, but having the quarterback now with Michael, all the young guys on offense,
right.
Andre, Kyle, and you get 2 edge rushers now.
Right.
Seemingly on paper, it seems like you got
Yep.
4 there now. How is that from that perspective to see all this finally kind of come?
Well, I think it's one of the reasons you've got close to 5,000 fans out here today, and why we appreciate how much the fans will be turning out during our season as well in our stadium. I think it's exciting for me as the owner, not even personally because I represent the fans. I represent everybody connected to our franchise, and so the same things that you see, I see as well. A young roster, tremendous amount of skilled players on offense, a very solid offensive line, young quarterback that appears to have all the leadership qualities and professional qualities that we're looking for, and that'll translate well during the season and seasons to come. And then I look at our defense, and the areas we've improved. We have some solid players on defense that we're carrying forward. Young players, but are good players, solid players, excellent players. And then to see the quality of the draft class this year, I think is very, is very exciting for me. So I like where we are, but. You're probably going to get 31 other owners who probably say something similar to that. But I feel strongly that we're in a different place than we've been in the last few years.
Compare that optimism going into this season compared to the last few. Obviously, I know.
Yeah.
But comparing to where you were at this point in previous seasons, how does it feel?
Well, I think we have more proven youth. I think on our roster, proven youth on certainly the offensive side. And I think we've got some young, proven, outstanding vets on the defensive side. And then I think with the quality of the draft we had this year, I think you'll be able to see the whole roster elevate itself to a different level. So I'm excited about where we are, and I should be. But I think Terry and Raheem and their respective staffs have done an excellent job in getting us to this point. And obviously we got to get through training camp and get through preseason games and get through our competitive practices, and looking forward to it's a hard schedule. I mean, I'm excited about our schedule. I'm excited that the NFL has given us 5 national games plus the game of Germany, so we really have 6 special appearances beyond the other games we're playing. So they see, I think, the same things that you and I are talking about. I think the NFL sees as well, and our fans do.
You mentioned your patience.
Yeah, Josh.
Trying to get more patience. And I think over 24 years, probably known as one of the more patient owners. I wonder if that's changed of late, given the run the last 6 years.
I don't think by nature, Josh, most people, if you ask them who work with me or for me, would probably say probably not the most patient guy in the world. I set very high standards for myself. I always have. work as hard as I possibly can, 6-7 days a week, do whatever I can in all of our businesses, certainly the Atlanta Falcons included. So I do whatever I can to make sure that we have all the resources in place, that we have, the kind of leadership in place, empower them, let them do their work, and let them make the decisions they have to make. I think one of the things that I learned, and I was interesting, in my second year that I owned the team in 2002, we had a gentleman who actually went on to become a general manager who came from Tampa Bay, Tim Ruskell, and he joined us. He was working with Rich McKay there, and Rich was our general manager, came with us. And I asked him to do a study of the last, 30 years in the NFL and tell me about the most significant traits that you would say that match consistency and winning on a consistent basis. And it really came down to, you sum it all up to, having ownership in place, good quality ownership in place that invests, understands long-term, puts money and resources in place, et cetera. Having consistency with the general manager, having consistency with the head coach, and then having a quarterback. So those are the, amongst other things, but those are the three things that were really, really important. And so I think, I've always tried to err on the side of, try to be, understand that it takes time to build an organization. It takes time to bring systems together, bring people together, bring players together, coaches together, and to get the kind of results that we do in a very competitive league. I met with the rookies yesterday, and as I said to them, you're going to find there's a couple of thousand players in this league that are very, very good at what they're doing, and not just the Atlanta Falcons, but the other 31 teams as well. So I think consistency, investing in the right people, giving them the resources, giving them the energy, giving them the support, letting them do their jobs, I think will lead over the long term to the kind of results that we'd like to see. And we had those for many, many years since I became the owner. We went through this lull period, which we've been through in the last 7 years, have not been to a playoff. And that's not where we want to be. So I'm probably maybe the least patient person when it comes to that. But there's only so much that I can do about that. And, fans and everybody should expect me to do everything that I can do and then let everybody else do the best that they can do. And I think we have the team here in place to do that.
The lull you mentioned, as you sort of speak out
Yep.
from your perspective, how much of that is quarterback related? How much of that is other factors that you can more directly control?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is related to the quarterback. Obviously, we went through, and you see this with, teams that have, great quarterbacks and then they transition out and move on, et cetera, et cetera. And unless you're, like Green Bay, for instance, an example that transitioned from one quarterback to another really great quarterback, you can get into that lull. You can get into that spin cycle of the washing machine, which isn't really what we want to live. So I think that, the emphasis, I think, on getting the right quarterback here, hopefully this young man is the man that we're looking for. And we know we have the coaching staff. We know we have the personnel department. I think we have the ingredients that we can look forward to, to being consistently competitive, which is what I described a minute ago. But it's been difficult 7 years for certainly our fans and certainly me. And but it's a competitive league, and you got to produce those things, and you got to get the results, and you got to continue to invest, and you got to have a degree of patience because that's important in getting the long-term results. But you also have to hold people accountable. And I hold myself accountable, and our coaches our coaches continue to hold themselves accountable. Thank you, and our players do as well. So we'll see as the year plays out.
Are you surprised from when you,
Pardon?
24 years ago to now, just kind of how hard it is to build a winning team and keep them winning?
Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, I think, if you look around the NFL, the teams that are consistently in that top 6, 7, 8 group, you're going to see a consistency with the coaching staff. You're going to see a consistency in the personnel, general manager staff. You're going to see consistency with ownership, and ownership that understands what investment means and understands its boundaries as well. what it should do and what it shouldn't do, and where it should be involved and where it should not be involved. So, I think I've learned all of that over the years, and continue to make the decisions that we can make that are appropriate, that really match that, and look for those kind of results.
I'm curious, as you're talking about the choices and the decisions and the people that you have in place, with Raheem Morris, the second chance to come back here, Jeff Ulbrich, the second chance to come back here. I think there are some people who say, like, are the Falcons retreading old paths? As you are going through and making those decisions and talking to Raheem Morris about bringing Jeff Ulbrich back, we'll use that example, how, when you're kind of looking at it, like, how convicted were you in those decisions about them being different this time around?
Well, I think that Raheem, I think the 3 years he spent in L.A., Raheem would tell you, I think, were a growth experience for him. Working within the side of a great organization, and a great head coach, a different kind of system, offensively and defensively, et cetera. So I think he grew a lot during that period of time. And I saw that, I felt that during the interview process that we went through. I think Jeff's experience in New York, Jeff was here before, was a very fine coach, was a really good coach in New York for a couple of years and produced really good results. So, we're lucky to have him back here as well, but I also think he's learned from that New York experience. I think all of us, pretty much in whatever roles, jobs we have in life, as life goes on, I think, if you're smart, you continue to learn and continue to get better, and every day gives you a new opportunity to produce, even at that results, or raise the standards and continue to go from there. So I think people like Raheem and Jeff are two good examples, but there are many other examples as well. And our players, having gone through, the transition they've gone through in the last few years, I think they're all smarter and wiser, I think, and understand what winning looks like and what it takes to win. And so I think they've increased their standards. And it's like I said to this rookie class yesterday, I said, maybe in college you played, 12 games or so, but, you've got maybe 4 or 5 where they're very competitive. In this league, regardless of the record of the team that you're going to see on Sunday or whatever day of the week we're playing, they're going to be very competitive. Whatever their record is, they're going to be competitive. They're going to have great athletes. They're going to be well coached, et cetera. And you can't be good to be great. You got to be great or better, and you got to compete at that level if you're really going to get the results that we're all looking for. So,
Paris, talk a little bit about the front office and coaching staff. Certainly, the front office they've been a part of that lull, and I think remember you saying at the owners' meetings that you were disappointed in the way last season ended. What is your level of confidence that you have the right people in leadership in both those?
Well, I definitely think we have the right people. I think they continue to demonstrate that. I think during this offseason and how they built during free agency, and particularly the decisions I think they made during the draft, and I think continuing to reflect on the coaching staff and making some changes in our coaching staff. And if the emperor has no clothes, you got to say the emperor has no clothes. And I think our leadership team has done that, and I think that'll make us better, makes them better for the quality of decisions that they're making. So I feel good about them. I'm encouraged about where we are, and look forward to an exciting, productive, and very successful season.
Arthur, you obviously know what a Super Bowl team looks like, 2016.
Yep.
Has there been a time since then, including right now, where you just said, okay, this feels like we can do what we did in 2016. Is this year that type of year, from a feeling standpoint?
Yeah, that's a good question, Terrence. I think this team has a tremendous amount of potential on both sides of the ball, and I'll include special teams as well. So, I have to be careful, about the aspirations we'll lay out, but those are the aspirations. But I think my sense is, my feeling is, to respond to your question, is that we're in a better place now, team-wise, coaching-wise, totally across the board than we've been in a number of years. And so, we were close last year, didn't finish the way we wanted to finish, for sure. Every one of the coaches would say that, players would say that as well. and certainly I feel that way. But I think incrementally we've gotten that much better, and so I look forward to the season and a different set of results at the end of the season.
Yeah, this morning Kyle Smith briefly touched on the synergy from the general management down to the scouts and his coaching staff. From your perspective, what has that organizational collaboration been like, and maybe has it been stronger than in recent years?
Well, I think it's another good question. I think you probably learn more in adversity than you do in success. Doesn't mean we don't want to have success. You learn from success as well. You learn what success looks like, what it feels like. You develop those traits. You want to continue to hone them and develop them and bring them to the next level. But also when you go through adversity, you stress the organization, you stress ourselves personally, et cetera, and you go back to the questions, what did I do? What did I learn from it? What could I do better? What could I do more of? What should I do less of? And I think that everybody in the building has gone through that period of reflection. There's no question we were at a point last year, 6-3, 2-game lead, et cetera, we all felt we'd end up in a different place than we ended up. Everybody would express that and feel that way. So, everybody owns that decision with the results of those decisions that led to that. And so you go back and you reflect, what is it that we could have done differently? How do we bring that forward to this year? What decisions can we make a little bit differently and make ourselves even better? And that's what organizations do. That's what people do. So I'm confident our organization has done that. Our leadership has done that.
How much say do you have as an owner?
I'm sorry?
How much say do you have when it comes to an owner when there is like a quarterback change or something like that? Or
Yeah.
do you leave that purely to the coaches, or are you watching like, maybe we need to make a change here? Like,
Do
you have any say?
Well, when I talk about a consistent owner, I don't mean a consistent owner being, crossing. To me, there's a very bright line where ownership should be on one side of it and not on the other side of it. So I think that hasn't changed in 24 years. I think ownership needs to be supportive, needs to, support with resources, needs to support with the right kind of cultural environment, making sure we're bringing the most talented people in the building that we can at every level and all positions, because everything's important. What happens in the medical room is important, training staff's important, communications is important, marketing's important, how we respond to fans are important, how we treat our players. Everything goes into a successful formula. And ownership should be involved in all of that. But when it comes to football, what these folks have forgotten, I will never learn. I will never know. So you want to hire the best people, give them the support, give them the encouragement, make sure they have everything they need to be successful, and then, stand on the sidelines and become a great cheerleader. And that's what my role is. That's what it should be.
Were you pleased with the outcome of the anti-collusion grievance with NFLPA? We found out about it in June.
I was part of it, and I was pleased with the outcome, the result, and obviously it's being appealed, but I thought the case that the NFL put forward with a group of us who were asked to testify, I thought was very solid, and it was something I was happy that I could contribute to in a purposeful way. So.
Got time for one more, Josh.
I know you were on Tim Green's podcast. I wonder what that
Yeah.
experience was like for you.
Well, Tim, for those of you who don't know, Tim was our number one draft pick. I'm trying to think, in '86, I think. Is that right, Josh? And obviously has been not only a survivor, but a champion in terms of ALS. I would say, one of the most inspirational human beings I've ever been around. I knew him not as a player, but I knew him when he worked for Fox. I knew him when he was in the communications business. I knew him when he was doing some TV work, et cetera, et cetera. And actually sought out some of his counsel to get his wisdom, being an ex-player at a very high level, et cetera. And so it's amazing to me, since he's been diagnosed with ALS, and what he and his foundation, his family have done to not only fight the disease, but be enlisted with others in terms of the battle for the cure and how do you deal with it if you do have it, et cetera, has been unbelievable. If you spend time with Tim Green, he is one of the happiest people that you would meet any day, any hour of the day, any day of the week, which is incredible given, the cards that he's been dealt in life right now. He's got a beautiful family. His attitude could not be better. He looks great. He usually attends one or two of our games a year. We're thrilled to have he and his family, and thrilled to be supportive in terms of his battle with ALS, and both from a diagnostic standpoint, a research standpoint, and a treatment standpoint. So special person. So I was happy to be part of his podcast and be part of his family.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you all very much. Yeah.